Good evening. The board has now returned from closed session and will begin the regular session of the Keys Union School District Board of Trustees meeting. 4.1, report out closed session items. We have nothing to report out. 4.2, approval amendment of agenda. I think the only thing we have is updated calendar dates in the back that we'll talk about later on in the meeting. Is there anything else?
No, there are no additional changes.
Do we have a motion to approve with the updated
I'll
calendar?
make that motion, Jeff.
We have a first.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Moving on to flag salute with the KTL students. Thank you. Moving on to 6.1, invitation to address the Board of Trustees. Do we have any? Moving right along to announcements. 7.1, Spratling Middle School 7th grade award day was today, March 17th. 7.2, Spratling Middle School Extreme Science Assembly. Do we know what time those assemblies are?
I do not off hand, but I will make sure that I send them out tomorrow.
All right, perfect. You know? There's only two? And do you know about how long the assembly is? All right, thank you. Moving on to 7.3, Keys Elementary School, Stanislaus County Sheriff Department helicopter visit. Mr. Brazil, would you like to add anything?
Well, I want to say that that has not been an easy task to accomplish. I want to commend Mr. Murray for really working on this and trying to and the Sheriff's Office for being so supportive of wanting to do this. It is our liability insurance that unfortunately was not very pleased with us doing this. So I had to remind them many times that there were other schools that have held this. This is not new, and Keys is not any different than any other district in the county. And that really, and then it comes to fruition that the same carrier for the Sheriff's Office, insurance carrier, is the carrier for us. So the fact they wouldn't insure something that they are issuing a certificate for the sheriffs to do, but wouldn't allow us to, that's been resolved. So I can tell you tonight that has been resolved and we are able to have the landing on the 1st. So
I was attached to a lot of those emails and it was circles. And then once we found out it was the same insurance, it made no sense, but it made all the sense at the same time. All right, moving on to 7.4, Keys to Learning WASP visit, April 3rd through the 6th. 7.5, Spratling Middle School movie night. Do you know the movie? Not yet. And that's April 8th. Keys to Learning Core Academy Talent Show is April 14th. Spring break, no school, is April 15th to the 24th. Moving on to recognition presentations, staff reports. We have read those staff reports. Do we have any questions or concerns? None? All right, moving on to student reports. Spratling Middle School. Come on up, ladies.
Hello, we are the student representatives for Spratling Middle School. I am Jocelyn Jimenez, an 8th grader at SMS and president of Student Council.
Hello, I'm Roxana Roscoe, an 8th grader at SMS and a member of Student Council.
The first event we will talk about is Valentine's Grams. We sold stuffed animals in mystery bags. It was a success and sold a lot.
The next event we will talk about is the winter formal. It was on March 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. We had 95 that paid and many enjoyed it. It was a success.
On March 11th, we had our spring rally. We had 3 different activities. We played dodgeball, balloon tag, and for our main activity, we had students pie the teachers and staff members. We had many teachers and staff get pied, including Mr. Reed.
This week in honor of St. Patrick's Day, we had a shamrock hunt. Student Council hid shamrocks around campus so students could find them and earn prizes.
January through February, we had our boys basketball season. Both teams got to play in the tournaments. They had a fun and memorable season. We had very committed players. We want to thank the board and superintendent for hiring our new music teacher, Mr. Arigati. We are very excited about all the musical opportunities being offered.
This month's student of the months were Josiah Dominguez for 6th grade, Aaron Keith for 7th, and Jennifer Mendoza for 8th grade. The character trait was responsibility. Tomorrow we will have the extreme science assemblies to look forward to.
We have brought some shamrocks for you for St. Patrick's Day. Please pass them around. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you for your time. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. If I could just, Mr. President, if I could just share for a minute. This really is almost surreal to have us finally having meetings with the public. So I am so thankful for you students who came out and parents and all of you who have, we've been through a lot and we sincerely appreciate it. And this is, it's feeling better and we appreciate it. So thank you guys.
Could I say one thing too then? To the young ladies before you
Ladies,
leave,
Roxanne, wait.
you know, for a while now, I've been sitting on this board and I've watched our school next door give presentations to the board, the charter school that is. And I've always been so impressed with every one of their addressing the board statements that they've made. And I've often said to the board and to our superintendent that I'm so impressed with their performance. But I think tonight, as you addressed us, it was so clear. The pronunciation of every word you said was amazing. You articulated everything you had to say flawlessly. And I just wanted to make sure you both knew that your performance was equal, if not better, to anything I've ever seen since I've been on this board. So I want to thank you for that. Yeah, thank you very much.
Have a good night, girls. Move on to Keys to Learning Charter Key Academy Student Council. He wants to be impressed.
It is.
You already have.
Hello, my name is Thea de Sa Campos. I am the 9th grade student representative. So at the beginning of the year, we had a meeting at Farmer Voice, and we discussed our upcoming events that we plan to hold. Slide. So at our dance, we had both junior high schoolers and high schoolers attend, and we had a really fun time. And we're planning to do a lot more dances like that. So at the Powder Puff and co-ed flag football game, we hosted this at the Keys Charter Elementary School campus. We had the freshmen and the sophomores against the juniors and the seniors. And like, this is some more pictures from the event. So we plan to have more spirit days, and we are going to keep adding on to them. This is another spirit day, which is dressed like an artist, and this is our Halloween. And lastly, we have the Christmas party where we had a white elephant gift exchange. We had snacks and we had a lot of fun decorations to get people into the spirit of the holidays.
Looks like a ring toss too, huh?
We certainly tried. So these are our plans. These are our upcoming plans for the year. We recently had the winter formal. We plan to have another co-ed flag football game on April 5th. We have Dress Like a Color Day on spring. We have Teacher Appreciation Week, May 2nd through 5th. And we have Star Wars Day, May 3rd. And then we have the spring dance on May 20th. Thank you for your time.
What was the Star Wars Day? I'm a Star Wars fan here.
We are going to be expanding on that at a later date.
You know, young lady,
Good answer.
when I was in the 6th grade here at Key School, I had a school teacher by the name
100
of
years
Sam
ago.
Assad. And in 1977, My sixth grade school teacher, who would become one of my family's greatest friends, took me and his son Paul to watch Star Wars in San Francisco on its debut.
That's really.
That's why I asked, what was Star Wars about? Yeah. Thank you for your time, young lady.
Come on up, there's a whole bunch of you back there.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
I am Ellie Nitschke, and I am the head president of the junior high for KUSD.
I am Evelyn Hollander, and I'm the publicist.
I'm Emily Musgrave, and I'm the VP.
I'm Nathaniel Barlow, and I'm the 7th grade representative.
We have a slideshow to present to you about all of the events that we have done throughout this school year.
So throughout the year, we have a special spirit days, and this one we chose is formal day. So everyone dressed up super formal and dressed up. And yeah, this is us. That's actually us three in that picture right there. And yeah, we had a lot of fun.
We had lots of photos.
Yes. lots.
Okay, this is pajama day. This is another fun day where we wore our pajamas to school because we've all been through quite a lot this year. So we thought it'd be good to kind of have a dress down day after the formal day.
So this is our out of this era day. A lot of different students dressed up in about different eras. I myself dressed in the 80s. So yeah, it represented many different styles that we've seen in the past and even a few dressed for the future.
Over the course of our year doing it, we've been having a couple parties. We had a Christmas party, which we had a lot of fun. We had snacks, games, and we also had a Valentine's party as well, where we had lots of fun games as well.
Okay, this is our anything but a backpack day where people brought anything but a backpack. As you can see, Ellie brought a shopping cart. She brought like a mini backpack, which is still kind of a backpack, but
Yeah, that's a backpack.
it's the thought that counts, okay? It's the thought that counts. She brought a laundry basket, so just nice spirit day.
For some upcoming plans, later on in March, we will be having a superhero themed day because no one can decide between DC or Marvel. And then once in April, we are planning on having a Easter egg hunt. And then throughout May, most likely we'll just do a couple more pajama days because May is a long month because we all want to be on summer vacation. Unfortunately, our secretary, Callie Parker, 8th grade representative, May McFarlane, and Sergeant of Arms Elise Roos was unable to be at this meeting, but they are with us in spirit.
You guys got more talking time without that. Are you guys gonna add up the superheroes to see which one wins?
Yeah,
Oh.
DC.
All right,
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank
Wow,
you.
Beautiful.
Mr. Bernal, did you get dizzy around that whole screen bouncing around? And then-
Yeah. You see it?
Yeah, and I also saw you at every one of those events. All right, moving on to music teacher. Mr. Brazil will introduce. Thank you,
Yes.
guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, I'd like to, I have the great pleasure of introducing to you Mr. Aragati, who has been with us since, I believe, March 1st or 2nd. And we certainly I wanted him to come, and I told him that please do not worry, it is not very formal, which I don't believe that we are, but I also warned them, please don't stump the man and ask him some goofy question. So I've prepped, but I wanted to welcome you, and I want to say that it was an absolute pleasure to go and see that first assembly. I also wanted to thank you for bringing in the support and friends that you did I saw the kids come alive and wanting to see this program take off, and I could feel it from your energy that you felt this was a good place. And so I'm thankful for that. So welcome. And again, we'll kind of, if anybody does have a question for him, if he wants to share a few words.
If you could pop up and talk, and if you could pop up and talk a little bit about the assembly, I went to it, but it would be, if you just recap that real quick, I think it was a great assembly.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Glad to be here, first of all, and just want to thank all of the faculty and staff. They've been great in helping me kind of get up to speed. I know I'm coming in like the last third of the year and having to shake some of the rust off because I haven't been in the classroom for a while, but it's been super great, even though it's been a bit like drinking from a fire hose. But anyway, so yeah, so the assembly, if you weren't there for that, we basically just kind of introduced some of the instruments that we're going to be teaching, and I am doing band instruments, but as well as that, I'm going to do piano, ukulele, and singing, guitar, and that type of thing. And so my approach to music is really to kind of just bring it in from all angles to try to get some kids in there, because there might be kids interested in band instruments, which is fantastic. But there may be other kids who that's not for them. They'd rather go kind of like the guitar or pop route. And I want to just hook them in however we can and just provide opportunities for them in different ways. So the assembly was great. I had a couple of friends and colleagues come in and showcase some of the instruments. Seemed like a lot of fun. The kids seemed really engaged, and I had a lot of them come up to me afterward and during recess and all that, and just really excited about being part of the program. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
I know you got questions.
Well, my big question was when we first entertained having someone as yourself do this, I thought to myself, well, we don't even have a classroom with instruments.
Right.
So my question's, where are we going to get the instruments?
Yeah, so that's a good question. That's what I was wondering when you hired me too. And so
He just sits in a classroom waiting for.
day one was opening up all the storage units and to see where the instruments were. And so thankfully there were some nice new ones over at the middle school. And then a few days later, I came over here and dug through and found all your old instruments just to see if any of them were usable. Brought them down to Ingram and Brahms, and they told me that about 26 of those were usable. And so we can get them fixed up for anywhere from like $80 to $200 each. And so I have a budget for that, taking care of some of those things, buying new instruments, curriculum, and things like that, which is fantastic. And it's nice in the age of the internet, how many resources are available specifically to this type of thing. That'll work super well, not only in middle school, but also elementary and primary school.
Well, if you find yourself in a position where in the last third of this year that you need something, I mean, please, he'll come to us, right?
Absolutely.
All right. In other words, I support this on levels I can't even describe. So
That's great.
I know we talked about also behind the closed doors that we needed a particular person for this adventure. And
Now you're going to make them.
well, I just,
That's right. I thought it was just someone who was willing.
no, there had to be a particular.
You didn't even interview. He just applied and got it.
So I wanted to thank you for what you're doing. For me personally, I mean, I'm a music buff, so
Yeah.
this is huge on my list.
That's great. And being a Star Wars buff, we did play some Star Wars music at the.
Ooh, I like you more and more.
Yeah, all right.
I just want to say the assembly was great. I stayed for all three. It was amazing to see which kids participated and which kids were just kind of checked out. It's not for everybody. We all know that. But the amount of kids that ran up and got permission slips, I was really impressed with. And another thing is I like how you touched everything, because we have in our community, we have a lot of kids that learn to play guitars and they're in bands now.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's just what they're interested in. And I felt that the kids understood that they didn't have to learn everything. They could pick and choose. And I really appreciated how you sold yourself and the program.
Yeah, so thank you. Yes. I think I did my student teaching with Stacy in 94, 93 or 94. So I was a young buck. I did
Really?
that, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So it's great to be here, and it feels like Keys still has that same kind of community vibe that was there when I was here many, many moons ago. So it's good to see that. The downside is you don't have the cafeteria like you had before, because the food was so good here before.
Yeah,
We're all four of us are Keith kids that went to this school, and Mike's new to the community, but he knows what a good cafeteria meal is too.
Oh, yeah.
But again, all four of us went here, and so we know exactly how we feel when we walk into the gym. So we know how you feel.
Yeah.
So
And my name from the 70s is carved in that.
you won't tell us where it's at.
I know where it's at. did enjoy the program. That was nice. I was surprised at all the different instruments that you're going to teach. That's quite a variety.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Jimmy? That
Quite a
is
variety.
amazing, huh?
He had everything else, the things I never heard of.
Yeah, no, I'm not a master of all of them, but a couple of them I'm pretty good at, yeah. I did get the most signups for guitar so far, so
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
That's what this community does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
That's
wife
great.
wanted to sign me up, but
Uh,
You know, you're retiring, you're leaving us.
Right now, well, again, thank you for joining us. We welcome you. And again, we will be as supportive as we can within the means that we have available to us. This has been, I will say for me personally, is a goal that I wanted to see happen here, as well as a art teacher. I think the arts are crucial to the well-being of our kids, to their academic success. And I think that kids in this particular community really need that here. And we're committed to supporting those programs and to seeing it grow. I can't wait to see it begin in the elementary and see it through. I hope that I will be around to see the fact that there are kids who began here and are there now and have moved on. So thank you. And I know that's a lot of responsibility to put on your shoulders. I know that there will be tough times and there will be challenges, but I appreciate you taking it on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
It wasn't so scary, was it? All right, moving on to item 9, consent agenda, correct, Dana?
Yep.
Consent agenda action items. Actions prepared for the consent calendar are consistent with adopted and approved policies of the district and are deemed routine in nature. They'll be acted upon in one motion without discussion unless members of the board request that an item be removed from the consent calendar. In that event, it'll be taken up in the order indicated on the main agenda. Any questions or concerns, 9.1 through 9.5? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to action items, 10.1, approval of certificated classified confidential management personnel action items. Do we want to do those individually or together? Dana, Ellie? Together?
I think they're.
Okay. If you have no issue, do we approve them as a whole? 10.1 and 10.2? Anybody?
I'll approve.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.2, approval of E-rate project. Mr. Brazil?
So the E-rate project is the federal funds that are issued to districts to provide really greater access to technology. So whether it be for infrastructure, in networking, cabling, and so we're asking that the board approve this project that we continue to do. We apply every year. We're at a funding level of, I believe, Stephanie, of 80%. So basically what the project costs, we're only responsible for the 20%. The federal government then kicks in the other. So we're asking that the board approve.
And is this a special project or is this just like the whole year?
No, it's there's. That's why I didn't want to respond because I had no clue what that box is.
Just tell us it's over our head and approve it. That's all we
No,
need to know.
I was gonna say it's a box, but I don't know what the box is.
All right, any questions or concerns about a box?
Is it a big box?
Does it look like it costs that much? All right, do we have a motion to approve this box?
That's kind of
Wes is still thinking of a box.
kind of embarrassing.
You know we're on that. I'll
Just,
make that motion.
we have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.3, approval of 2021-22 summer school draft plan. Mr. Brazil?
So it's completely a draft. I just wanted the board to know that we are working on it. In fact, today we met once again with our ACES program that we're really excited about. Then perhaps accessing some of the LOA funds that the state has put out to provide an extension of the summer school day, which we're looking at it being the entire month or June, 20 days in June, 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, with the addition then of an ACES program after for those who wish to participate. Those who don't will have lunch at 12 to 12:30, and then they can go ahead and leave the summer school regular program, or they can have the extended day, which will be until 4 o'clock. So we're excited. I think we nailed that down today. We had to work through transportation. We needed to work through a cafeteria. And now we have to get some MOUs in place or approvals of salary schedules or salaries for opening it up to our staff to work on it. So we're very excited. I think we'll have transportation for those students that finish midday. We unfortunately can't offer it at the end of the ACES day at 4 o'clock, just because we don't have unfortunately, we just don't have the infrastructure as a small district to be able to provide transportation to that level. So.
And would the after-school program be kind of how it exists now with the monitor hours?
It's also what ACES shared today is that they are going around looking at different programs. They actually are looking at different curriculum because they are moving towards what the state is asking that it be. I believe it's a long 9-hour day of kids to focus completely on academics. But as the ACES person, or now I can't think of his name. Alfredo shared with me, Elu, if they're having fun, that can be learning. And he was absolutely right. It's like, I'm thinking that it's just sitting and then there's a lot more activities and things that are very engaging, and that's what kids need. So he reminded me of that, and I appreciated it because that was very true. So.
And then my second question is, it was going to be ran through PAL?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Any other questions?
None, sir.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll approve.
We have first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.4, presentation of approval of second interim budget report. And she can talk this month.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I got my voice back.
It's too much.
Super exciting. Not
0.5.
for everyone, but.
Hurrah.
Good evening. Tonight, we are presenting our second interim budget report. If you will open your finance packet.
You come share with me, buddy.
Where's mine, Jeff?
You left yours at home.
I didn't bring extras.
It's all right, he can share.
Okay.
Look, right here.
Oh.
Stay 6 feet away.
If you could please turn to page 2. This is where I give my budget assumptions. And you may recall at first interim, we talked about a term called the fiscal cliff, which was going to be the loss of ADA due to the pandemic and the fact that the government's hold harmless protections are set to expire June 30th. So the fiscal cliff is going to be next year, what we're expecting, unless changes are put into place between now and the governor's new budget. So I want to specifically point out in the green box, it shows that we have a funded ADA. So what we're receiving this year is ADA of 736.2 students. Our actual ADA is right above that, which is 674. So we've lost, our enrollment is down 61 kids. But you can see the disparity in our funded ADA. So in the yellow box, if nothing happens, we're going to definitely receive a lot less money next year because of those lost kids, and we no longer have the hold harmless. So the hold harmless is the fact that we're receiving money this year on kids that we don't actually have. So that's going to expire. The governor has proposed, and there's talk about instead of the hold harmless provision, which we've received this year and the year before, he's talking about doing an average of ADA. And so if we average the ADA over the 2 prior years and this year, it would bring our ADA up from 674 to 714. So that would be helpful, but we're still not back at the pre-pandemic levels. Now, this is if our enrollment doesn't increase next year.
And that's not a guarantee that he's willing to do that, or it is?
It's not a guarantee at this point. The governor will come out with his budget proposal in May, so we'll know at that time.
And I think the legislature, there is a number of plans that are being proposed. The one that we were clearly told this morning in a meeting with ACSA, which is the Association of California School Administrators, we were flat out told that the administration has said that they will not do the hold harmless. That's not on the table. That's not an option. So that was kind of, I think there were some of us that kind of still had the hope, maybe one more year. No, so what we're hoping is exactly what Stephanie just said, is that middle ground scenario, which doesn't completely devastate us right away, but it certainly doesn't solve the issue.
So the 3-year average, it would be what they consider a soft landing. So it allows you to plan for this drastic reduction. I mean, every school in the state of California has lost enrollment. The average decline is 9% and we're at like 6.7. So we're above average. I mean, that's good news. But the entire state of California is about 9% down.
Could you make me feel real good right now, though?
I will, don't you worry. I always have to give the bad news.
I got so many, I can't.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so if you turn to page 3, this shows our enrollment year by year. And you can see that we're projecting next year, we would actually be down 51 students. We were down 9 students this year. And then the graph right below that shows what the drastic, that's the cliff, where it drops from 2021 to 21-22. Am I confusing you? Because I'm, okay.
We're still good.
Going off the cliff.
Because our actual versus our funded is different this year. So sometimes
You know I'm stuck
Confused
on
me.
our reserve, right?
I know. Oh, our reserves are good. Don't worry. Page 4, again, is just a graph of our revenue and expenditures and the categories they fall in. On page 5, this is the change since first interim. The blue column is our second interim budget. And we've actually, we received more revenue, but so we also increased our expenditures for that revenue. But we did slightly increase the deficit spending by about $73,000. So we have a beginning fund balance of 5.4 million and an ending fund balance of 5 million.
Was that deficit spending, is that because we had so much money coming in from all this that we just were spending, thinking that it was going to keep coming?
No.
No.
So we're deficit spending because we did get in all of the COVID money, the funds. We received some of it last year and some of it this year. And so when we received all this influx of money, we had to write plans. We didn't know where we were going to spend those dollars right away. So it ends up in your fund balance. So the only way to spend those dollars then is to deficit spend.
Gotcha.
So this is called planned deficit spending. It's not unexpected.
I like that. That
Okay.
sounds good there. Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember at first interim, I showed the graph of the fund balance and it was going way up.
Yes.
It was like $6 million, which was
I remember.
crazy.
Very well.
So that's the only way to bring that back down is to deficit spend.
Gotcha.
So we're good. If you turn to page 6, these are just a list of all the changes from first interim. If you look at line number 9 specifically, this is a new pot of funds called ELOP, which is Expanded Learning Opportunity, which is the exact same name as the federal Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant Funds. So just to keep it confusing, the state and federal named their programs the same. But that was $630,000 that we received this year. So, and that's the funds that we're going to be using for our summer school plan, or summer school program. Right now, that program, the way we have it planned, it's about $125,000 for those 20 days of summer school. So it is quite costly. We don't receive any ADA like we used to on summer school program. So that's why the government gave us these monies specifically to expand those after school programs and intersession programs. So that was a really great pot of money that we received.
One time, or do we think we'll get some a little bit?
So they haven't, a lot of this money came without a lot of details, but what we are hearing is that not only will this be ongoing, but it's going to increase a great deal next year. So that's really good news.
Just keep in mind, that's based on a rosy economy and not really thinking of what can change overnight. I don't want to
Bringing us
sound
down
like,
to reality.
I'm very happy to see it, but I don't think we can sustain, and I'm a little concerned that California isn't, this is my political complete inappropriateness, is the fact that I don't think that when you have a surplus, you should be expending it as freely as I think the state is. It's going to come to a point where we're going to turn around and we're going to say, we put these programs into place and now you're telling us you can't fund them and we're going to take them away from kids. And to me, I'd rather sustain something slowly, but know that it's steady and coming than to, ooh, one-time money, let's spend it. It's gone. And the program still needs to be run. So that's my.
And I think we all know that the government, the cogs of government wheels turn very slowly, but during the pandemic, they were trying to pump things out so fast that they sent out all of this money and now they're writing the rules. So we're finding that these dollars are very restrictive. Where it's like we're back in the old days of categorical programs now. That's my political statement.
No, I agree.
If you turn to page 7, this is showing that our funding over prior year has increased by $714,000. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with any of the categorical funds that we talked about. This is just straight up local control funding formula, state aid is what we call it. So this is sort of our unrestricted dollars. So we had an increase of $714,000 in 21-22 over prior year. However, 15% of that increase was due to the increase of our supplemental concentration funds. So we receive a certain pot of money for the numbers of our unduplicated kids, meaning our kids that are free and reduced, foster youth, those kind of subgroups of children. So we received over almost $400,000 of additional funding. However, even though these are unrestricted dollars, they came with strings. And this was the pot of money where these additional funds had to be used to increase the number of classified and certificated staff that provide direct services to students. So in order to spend these funds, we had to hire more staff, which we did do. And I went over that at first interim. That's how we hired our additional office staff in the school offices, the health clerks, and we increased the nurse time and the psychologist time for students. So it looks like it's, unrestricted money, but it's really not.
Are you sure it was It could have been
Restricted.
Ah.
So the point I'm trying to make is that while we received $700,000 more over prior year, $386,000 was just for that purpose. Then right now, we are projected to increase our special ed spending this year by $479,000. And that we have no control over. When we have services, we have to provide them. So just with those two things take up more than the new revenue we received. So they give and they take away.
Mike got switched.
And then finally, I just wanted to talk again about the hold harmless and the ADA cliff. And if we were to receive that 3-year average ADA, so we get a little bit of a soft landing, that could prove to be an increase of $545,000 for us. So based on no protections to the soft landing is a huge difference. So we really want that soft landing.
What day is that reporting day that we have to know by?
So this is up to the governor and what he decides in his budget.
You were thinking back on what we used to look back as Seabed's Day.
Yeah.
And that's kind of gone.
So CBEDS is our enrollment, and that was done back in October, and that number will never change. But what this will be based on is our ADA, which we report at P2, which will be April 15th.
That's, yeah.
So that will be the number that will be funded on our attendance on April 15th, unless the governor provides protections,
So we already know what that worst case scenario number.
which is the 674.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
If you turn to page 8, I just want to, as a visual, all of the lines highlighted in green are all new funding streams. These are all categorical programs that come with strings. So it's been, pretty tough keeping track of all of this and trying to decide how we can best spend these dollars.
Did they teach you that in school?
Well, this is old school. This
Yeah.
is how it used to be when Jimmy and I got on the board. Everything had strings attached to it. And then we went a couple of years without strings and now we're back to it again.
One of the little frightening things that I've seen just happened yesterday. I received an email saying from CDE that, oops, we made a mistake. Actually, the federal government, that they over appropriated Title I last year. So we've already closed the books for last year and they're taking money back from us.
Oh.
And within 15 minutes of receiving that email, I got an email from our county office saying, what account code string do you want me to take your money away from you?
Wow.
And I emailed all of our neighboring CBOs and everyone was shocked. No one knew about this. I contacted the County Office of Ed and actually spoke about it at the Small Districts Association meeting today. And they're going to be doing some research and maybe get some relief. For us, it was $40,000, which isn't a huge amount, but it's unexpected and it comes from last year's budget. So that's a little frightening.
Imagine the luxury of being able to say, oops, I made a mistake. Give me that back.
Well, and when you think about it, this is the federal government. And so for our county alone, it's over $1 million. That's one county and one state. So think about how much money the government's taking back nationwide.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sobering thought.
But I'm sure next month they'll come out with something that they'll send out that has more strings attached, but it'll be half of that amount. But we'll have to do something for it. That's
So we're staying flexible and nimble right now. That's the theme. So if you turn to page 9, this is the good news.
This is Wes's page.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
page 9. Line 1, the beginning fund balance in the far right-hand corner, we have a beginning fund balance of 5.4 million. And on line 6, we have an ending fund balance of 5 million. This is projected for the end of this year. Of the 5 million ending fund balance, we have assignments, which is our 9.5% reserve for economic uncertainties, which is just what we might be facing. We have our revolving cash. We have a set aside for technology, maintenance. Our next textbook adoption, we have funds set aside for that. We have a little bit of money set aside for transportation in case we need a new bus. We have our lottery funds set aside for our athletics and outdoor education program. So we have a total unassigned reserve of 21%. And right now, school services came out and said because of the pandemic, it used to be that the average reserve for an elementary school district was 17%. Because of the pandemic, it's gone to 21%, and we landed right at 21%. So I thought that was very telling. So we are average.
We were ahead.
Yeah, we were ahead.
Now
We're average
Now
now,
we're average.
but I think we're above average.
So do I.
Oh, Wes, you're such a.
So if you turn to page 10, this is a visual graphic of what our fund balance is going to do if there are no protections. Okay, so that's as of today, no hold harmless. Our fund balance is going to go from 5 million down to 3.4 within 2 years. So pretty quickly. So this also assumes that we have no increase in enrollment, that we don't get any kids back.
You plan for virtually worst case scenario. Then,
Right. So we have a really good fund balance to sustain that. But this graphic kind of gives you an idea that if nothing changes, we might have to make some changes. So it's just that, bird in the, what do you call it? In the mine.
Wes knows all these.
It's still breathing, but it's starting to cough a little. If you turn to page 11, again, these are just the numbers of the multi-year projections showing that we are continuing to deficit spend 2 years out, which isn't a great position to be in, but we have the fund balance to sustain it.
Well, thank goodness for that fund balance.
Stephanie, I just wanted to add that, just to go back to proving a point that you made, I wanted to be very transparent to people that we increased positions, numbers of support staff, numbers of staff members, that we were able to do so based on that influx of dollars that said you can only use these dollars to hire these individuals. There is not a funding mechanism to keep those individuals in place. So for example, actually, I just shared this at a different meeting, that we hired clinicians to support the mental health of our students, and we have them. And so there was some talk about, the county is saying that they are not seeing quite as many referrals at the county level. And that makes sense to me because we're, as school districts, providing those services. But to me, it's a temporary Band-Aid of a year and a half, because we didn't hire them until about halfway through this year, and we can keep them through next year. But next March, and I'm saying this because today's March 17th, March 15th of next year may look very gloomy. And I just want to be very clear that as superintendent, I have gone on the record of sharing that just because we have the staff we have now, we're not being funded to maintain. That's all I can, I
When you
want.
said Band-Aid, was that a?
Well, because I'm worried that what we're providing are the services kids need. And then all of a sudden, they're going to pull it off. And the wound isn't quite healed, and we're not going to have enough to change the bandage.
We might have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
If there is limited resources, what we
So
keep and
we-
what we don't.
So we have to get rid of the band teacher already?
Well, no, I'm.
If
well,
he's watching at home, no.
the discussions will get tough. That's all I think we. for
They're all
everybody.
hired on, they know that.
Yeah.
I think we're.
Well, and that's what I would like to add is that all of these people that we did hire, they were hired as temporary positions. So they were well aware of the position that they were receiving.
And
What
we're prepared. As a board, I think we've talked about.
I
it.
agree,
Yeah.
yeah, completely.
But I think we've always sold as we have to let them know it's temporary.
Yeah.
And that if it works and we can find a way, it's great. But if not, I think, and I do believe our HR department has told everybody they are temporary, and it's a year by year case.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Because layoffs are hard, but on a temporary employee, it is what it is.
Well, and I'd also like to add that this report was prepared as of January 31st. So it's already a month old, right?
What'd you do yesterday?
So I think we are going to have attrition. That's really going to help us because we've lost all these students. We really don't need the level of staff potentially. I'm not saying I've done a study, but I think that we're going to have attrition that will help us in this area. So we'll have to see how that plays out by the end of the year as well. Some positions will absolutely have to fill, but maybe not necessarily all of them. So we'll look at those on a case-by-case basis.
Oh, has she just sat in the office with this for 30 days? Okay.
I would like to point out that Raul made this pretty page for us. It's a cover sheet for the charter school.
Oh, page number 13. That's what Raul's done this last month.
That art,
Is this all Raul's done last month?
art teacher.
Actually, Raul put together the majority of this report. He did a great job.
While producing other things that my artistic abilities were not able to do. He even got signs ready for us to go to our stop walk and
He is
I think he was
multi-talented.
insulted with my sign, so he had to fix it up. So it looks much better, just to share.
Okay, so if you turn to page 15, this is for the charter school, and this is their second interim report. And you'll see that they have in the blue column, revenues of 3.2 million, expenditures of 3.4 million. So their deficit spending as well, 231,000. They have a beginning fund balance of 2.3 million and an ending fund balance of 2 million. And within that ending fund balance, I'm still setting aside that $430,000 overpayment that happened last year from CDE. I can see that they are taking back some of those payments. They've taken back about 200,000. But with the way things are kind of going with CDE and funding and everything, I want to leave that 400,000 as an assignment until the end of the year, so that then I know they've taken back all the money that they're supposed to. So I think it's going to happen. I just want to be safe.
When they take that money back, do they penalize us? Do they?
No, it was their
It's
mistake.
their mistake. Oh, no.
If we
Yeah,
made
they
it,
Do they penalize us?
do we penalize them?
Feels like it.
Yeah. Well, at least we got to, collect the interest, right?
Right.
All the 2 cents.
So I do want to remind you, because I know I talked about it at first interim, that the charter school does not receive any hold harmless protection for ADA. So that's part of why their deficit spending this year is because they are only receiving funding on their declined enrollment this year. So they have no,
Enrollment decline.
if you look on
She's not there yet, Wes.
Oh, we're.
page 17.
And just to share, because I know Julie's here too, and things are changing at the state level very quickly. And so Charter School Association is one of those greater organizations that is saying, hey, wait a minute. These are kids, there is 650 some thousand students enrolled in charter schools across the state. They deserve whatever other districts or what, so and I was glad to say, Small School District Association, AXA, I believe even TTA, everyone is on board with saying, no, what's right for one is right for all. So I'm just sharing what I'm hearing. I can't promise any of that, but it's sounded better today than I've heard it in the past. So
It makes sense.
yeah.
If you turn to page 16,
How do you keep track with us always talking?
I did lose track there just
I
for a
know,
second.
She's used to me walking up and down the hall.
That's why she stares at you so much, waiting for your question.
Well, I gauge how I'm doing by your face.
Oh, no.
Just look down.
If you turn to page 16, I wanted to show you two different graphics here. So the graphic on the top is as of today, if nothing were to change, they have no protections and they do not recover their enrollment. You can see how drastically their fund balance is going to go down. So I've already met with Jill and Kim and I reviewed this information with them. So they're well aware that if things don't change, they definitely have to make some adjustments. So either they're going to increase their enrollment or they'll have to make some budget cuts. So that's what it looks like today.
When you say increase their enrollment, they have the potential to do that?
Well, they're fortunate in the fact that they can draw
Solicit.
in kids from outside the area. So they could actually do some marketing and try to bring in kids where we can only service the kids that are in our boundaries.
And I think Jill and the entire staff is actively trying to increase those numbers. As I report on the Friday letter, the enrollment numbers, those are steadily I'm seeing slow increase. So that's helpful or hopeful. And again, I think that the information has been shared. They understand it. It's not, we just want to be very honest and say, this is what's happening, much like the rest of the state is in declining enrollment, including charter schools as well. So.
And this could be a completely different story come the end of June, depending on what the governor decides to do. But the graphic below then, this is what their fund balance would look like if they had the exact same enrollment as last year. So that's a big difference that 1 year can make.
Hundreds
So-
of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So they would be completely healthy and actually growing their fund balance if they had the same enrollment as last year. So page 17 just shows that we're projecting this year that they will be down 21 students. And page 18 is the numerical values for the multi-year projections, showing the continued deficit spending based on what we know today. And that's the end of my presentation.
Wow. I'm glad you got your voice back.
Are you?
I am.
Thank you. I'm glad I got my voice back.
Any questions or concerns?
Bunch.
I think Wes already answered all of my questions I had.
Thanks, Wes.
Stop. Well done.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
It's a motion to approve a 30-day-old document. We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Moving on to 10.5, approval of CSEA MOU extension. Mr. Brazil? Yeah,
That's
get
just,
on your
again, the continued extension of month by month from the CSEA chapter, and we're happy to continue to do so. I don't think we've had any issues come up, so.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.6, discussion and approval revision of 2022-23 school year. For the board meetings, we just had updated in our binder. I think Ms. Brazil can add to it, but I think we had some issues that where we changed the days. Those issues don't matter anymore. It's getting really confusing keeping that third Thursday with holidays, schedules, everything like that. And I think we're looking back to going back to the second Tuesday as we were status quo.
So the request is that we, if everyone is in agreement, to move back to the second Tuesday of every month, beginning with the April 3rd and 4th Thursday in June, which actually in June we have to have two, so it would be the 16th and the 23rd. The April 3rd and 4th also will not coincide with spring break or Easter break. So again, we used to do them on Tuesday.
Forever.
So for a long
Actually, they used to
Just
be
go back to
Wednesdays.
the original one.
Yeah,
They used to be Wednesdays for a long time, but I Tuesday I think fit better. I really appreciate that. In all the years I've been on the board, we've never moved meetings, and we've had to recently, and I think it's worked. But I felt like we didn't have to move them all the years before, so I think moving back would be a
The good
good.
news is I've only showed up 3 times since I've been on the board where no one's been here.
He has shown up to no meetings.
And one time you come, was it in the afternoon? It was a morning meeting?
No, that was Harinder.
I like that.
He showed up at the nighttime for a morning
Oh,
meeting.
that's good. Yeah.
Mike, do you have any questions or concerns over the dates?
Be honest with you, I can't really, I don't have my calendar in front of me. So
Yeah,
I
that made
don't
no
think it'd be
sense.
a problem.
Okay,
I think you said Tuesday.
it would be to move them back to the second Tuesday of the month, Mike.
Yeah, I said I can't give an answer if it'd be a problem because I don't have my calendar in front of me.
oh, okay. All right, well,
I
I say we motion this and you look into it and let us know if we have any conflicts. Does that sound all right?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah,
Is
sounds
everybody
good.
else? Is everybody else on board?
Mike, I'll email this to you tomorrow and you can take a look at it and then let me know.
Okay, I'll be back home tomorrow.
Very good.
So do we have a motion to approve the,
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we go back to the second Tuesday of every month for our board meetings,
except for the June?
except for June.
So I'll make a motion for this calendar. That'd be probably the best. So we have a motion first. We have a second? We have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Right?
I'll sustain.
All right, I
So,
appreciate
I'm-
that.
Sorry.
No, I understand. And I just want to say, like, I feel if there's anything that we can move meetings to accommodate, I think we're pretty flexible. So I have appreciated that in the past. Okay, moving on to 11.1, ESSER 3, and then next year 4, and the next year.
No, ESSER 3 still going. We're still, as I think as Stephanie shared, it was one of those plans that had to be written and all of the things are slowly coming into place and expenditures are following. We continue to have a tough time keeping positions filled. And I think that, again, that's not new to or unique to our district. It's unique, I think, to the whole state really, and everyone is experiencing it. The SMS track committee meeting is coming up. I've scheduled it for March, I believe the 24th, and I'll share a little bit later on. We're making progress. The landscape architect has sent us back plans that we've now submitted to our regular architect to have a review and decide whether there are issues that we may need to go through DSA or not. So we're hoping that that may not be the case. That would be the greatest thing. But that's kind of the update on that.
All right. Any questions or concerns about the track? Jimmy, you got to have
I'm
something.
just waiting. I can't wait till we start.
You're going to be the first one to run that track and rip that little paper.
Well, don't have to run past it. I want to see Jimmy run.
We're going to play that slow, the band will play that slow music.
You get a track, I'll try to go around it.
All right, moving on to superintendent report. Mr. Brazil?
Okay, so we continue to see a decrease in number of positive cases. So quarantines are down and we're certainly happy. This is obviously, I'm just going to share, it's kind of nice to hold a meeting and to have the choice of being able to wear a mask or not. So I'm appreciative of everyone who's struggled to get to where we are. It has not been an easy road, and I certainly understand that. We have a brand new music teacher, as we indicated tonight. I'm so excited, and I think the kids are equally as excited, and I really think it's something that will add to our day and our opportunities for kids. We're still looking for an art teacher, however, and so that, and the 7th grade teacher. So we're not giving up yet, but it's getting, but we found a music, and that to me, I thought was going to be tougher than the art. So anyway, there are fewer of them. The LCAP plan is being worked on, and community partners are being engaged. Students, parents, and staff input is being sought. I know that yesterday, Mr. Murray and Mrs. Rugert had a parent or a community opportunity for, basically, we used to call them stakeholders. Now we're supposed to call them partners in education. But they're stakeholders. That's what we, I mean, they're part of this and they have a stake in it. So we're trying to share with them, here's our goals, here's the things, and we're seeking input for them to share. What could we do that would be better supportive of your students and of the district? Again, I've already shared about the mask choice. I appreciate everyone being respectful and being appreciative and allowing that to be their personal choice. The meeting will be on the 24th for the track at 3:15, and I know Jimmy will not miss that meeting, so he will be there. We're having it at the district office, and we'll kind of go over. We'll have some plans that we can share that are electronic plans that we can share at that time. We continue to work with students in 6th grade to do the TDAP. I know that Mrs. Ruger has been actively trying to do everything humanly possible, except we can't actually administer the shots. So, but they do need to have them before they can go to 6th grade camp. So we're hoping that that will get resolved. And our attendance is continuing to be an absolute, it's heartbreaking because we have so many students who have lost so much instruction as a result of not only quarantine, but maybe some other disconnect. And so our cases have authorized a huge number of SARB cases to proceed. We had thought that the numbers we would be able to at the district office level be able to hold one last meeting with me, not that I would make much of a difference, but the numbers are so large that it's impossible to do. So I want to be honest that it's just disappointing. I know that the message has been always, we want kids in school, and somehow through this pandemic, it became, but you're quarantined and you can't be here. And so I'm hoping that slowly we'll move back to the importance of having to be in your seat and being on campus to be able to learn. So I wanted to share that. Summer school planning is in progress. Like I shared with you, we're working with ACES and PAL to really make that happen. And we're thankful for PAL for being able to support. Summer school or charter, the WASC visit is coming up. I have no doubt they'll do very well in this review. They'll be coming, actually meeting with the board if any of you would like, or I'd like all of you to attend if you can, on April 3rd in the afternoon. They kind of come in on a Sunday and kind of share a little bit of themselves, share what the process will be with the board and meet the board and kind of hear. It will be an opportunity for us to share the great things that happened or could take place at KTL and to kind of show absolute support of the school, because one of the things that they look as a visiting team is there a support? Is there a disconnect? What is it? All of those things go into developing a report that they submit at the end of the process. So March is proving to be a long month, but I guess the end is in sight. We're beyond the first 2 weeks. I'll be attending a job fair with other district staff at the Stanislaus County Office of Education. It's going to be held on March 26th. And hopefully we will, for the individual positions that we already know we have need for, we will do our best to recruit. The helicopter landing on April 1st, as I said, that's been accomplished, and we hope that will all go well. And I understand the seriousness. I mean, in all of our, it is all about kids' safety, and we want to make sure that kids and staff are safe and the individuals doing this. But it was just one of those things that sometimes you have to point out the inequities. Well, wait a minute, why does so-and-so down the road get to do it, but I can't? So I'm glad it was resolved. We need to, once again, I'd like to ask the board that we really need to schedule some site visits and get back to that routine. I think that's incredibly important. And so I'll be asking, because we can't have more than 2 attend at one time. And once again, I want to thank the entire staff and parents for all they do and for their support the last 2 years of this absolute craziness. And I hope that this will continue and we will have an ending of the year that is positive and safe. So thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to board member comments. Mr. Emmons?
Well, I was very excited to come out of the closed session and seeing a group full of people waiting for us here in the auditorium. That was good to hear the kids give us their reports, and things are starting to get back to normal. And I really like that. I'm very excited about our music teacher. I was surprised how many instruments he's willing to
Jimmy,
teach.
I was blown away by that.
We got to see them.
Yeah,
They work.
Impressive.
He's good. I'd like to sign up, tell you the truth, but anyway. And the track, by golly, it's getting closer. And I can't wait till the meeting.
Jimmy, you had a vision, my brother.
yeah, I
You had
see.
a vision.
No,
Yeah,
it's still.
He's still driving everybody's crazy about
It's
this
a
vision.
field renovation project. It's
well,
not quite.
we just still, it still
still
says
better than what
track
it's
on
gonna
the
be.
paper.
We're gonna do one step at
Yeah,
a time.
Fine. No, I'm happy.
Well, remember that old fable, Jimmy. I may be so slow, but I'm sure.
I was called stubborn, but.
47.
Anyway, that's just, thank everybody. That's.
All right, thank you. Mr. Green?
I had a few notes here. So the first thing is, there was a young lady up here tonight giving a speech, that first one.
The Spratling or the Charter?
Spratling.
Jocelyn.
I mean, all of them were amazing.
Yeah.
That's
It seemed,
Sergio's daughter.
I had no clue. I wanted to ask. And then the last young lady, I don't know if it was just me, but she had a voice that I thought, my gosh, she could, if she pursued, she could be a professional speaker. I hope somebody in this group encourages that young lady. Because the way she stood, she kept herself just, so I don't know. I just wish sometimes I could encourage more than just talk, so, and I know that some of us are in a better position to do that, especially teachers, things like that. And I know you do, but that's just my personal opinion that young lady had potential way out of a realm that I could ever imagine. So I wanted to bring that to the attention. Also, Stephanie, before I get too carried away with my comments, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. My God, you are actually teaching somebody that's unteachable. I never really thought I could grasp any of this and you are, you make it complete for me. I'm getting it. So thank you for that.
Good luck, Raul.
Right.
There it is.
Well,
There it is.
Fruit don't fall from the tree, right? So, Jimmy, for the site visit. So you mentioned that and I was like, oh my goodness. So a couple of weeks ago, you had passed me down the road and I thought, I'm going to grab Jimmy right now, see if me and him could just walk right in and just walk through the school. And I thought, no, that wouldn't be appropriate. But I had the thought and I thought, well, since you mentioned it, I could ask, is that something that's within our realm?
2 weeks ago, probably not. Now, yes.
I think our
Getting there.
position was that we needed to be representatives of what we were asked to do. It was not necessarily, I think, any of our personal opinions, and that's not what it was about, but it was also about the fact that we need to comply with certain things. And I know that that does not rub some people well, but I think we are certainly now at a point where we should and can go into the classrooms. I don't think that that's a problem.
And I didn't mean to catch anybody off guard and make anyone uncomfortable. It wasn't that. It was, I thought, the best time to see is when it's raw, right? When we can
Unexpected.
just come in, it's unscheduled, we come in and we just spend a few minutes and enjoy that time, of course. So I just wanted to make sure that wasn't out of line to even think that.
No,
and
and I
the
think
last-
staff, to be honest, I think the staff, and I think both principals are here, I think, well, three. I think staff would be absolutely welcoming of that. I don't think that there is a person who is going, this isn't about a gotcha moment, as you said.
Right.
It really is a validating of what people are doing. And it is it has been a heck of a year, and things in classrooms aren't as neat and as, I know our kindergarten teachers are struggling, they are upset, they are feeling like they're not giving it their all. They blame me, a portion of it. This isn't about that. It's about we're doing the best that we can with the environment we have. And so going in to validate, we know everyone is being challenged to levels that none of us have ever been. But it's the times. And so I think what we can do is go in and look at it. I personally, I would love to have more time in my day that was allowed versus dealing with some of the things that you have to do during a day. But I certainly want the board to feel welcome to go into the classrooms, check into the office, go and visit those classrooms and follow.
And inspire, right? We want to inspire them classrooms for sure.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to ask and make sure that would be all right.
Absolutely.
All right,
Yep.
and then last about our band teacher, I wanted just to make sure, listen, everyone, I am willing, this is big. This is that track is important to Jimmy. Band is that important to me, equally, no more, no less, but equally is that. So whatever there is that I can do, even if it's on a personal level, I'm there, right? I mean, I told you, I have every instrument there is. I'd be willing to give them to the school if that's what it takes. So if he needs anything, go, hey, I know somebody that might be able to help. So keep that in the back of your ammo bag there.
Very good. Will do.
And other than that, that's it. I just want to thank everybody. And yeah, it was great seeing everybody tonight. And it surprised me when we walked out. It did, Jimmy. I was like, yeah, but we're not desperate. We can handle big crowds.
We need a social.
All right, thank you. Mr. Burnell?
No comment tonight.
All right, thank you. Mr. Greener?
No comment as well.
All right. I have a bunch of notes. And Jimmy's first reaction when we walked into the music assembly, he says, I haven't done this in 2 years. I missed this. And it's exactly what you're getting at.
Yeah, that's.
And it's one of those things that LU personally knows that my biggest thing is if I'm not working, I'm on the campus somewhere. And with setting a level to where we're not allowing parent volunteers and all that stuff, we can't then use our fame or name or whatever you want to call it and go on campus. So it's been a tough one. I mean, the only interaction that I've had with students is sports, and that's even at the dance, I couldn't tell who all the kids were. I haven't seen them in 2 years, So I am looking forward to getting that back. I was able to go to a rally where I got 3 pies in the face. I did let the kids scoot a little closer than Mr. Hughes wanted them to, but I thought they had to earn it. And the 8th graders sure can hit a lot harder than a 6th grader. It was fun and the kids enjoyed it. And it did feel like back to a little bit of normal. So we just baby steps to where we can get up to there. The rally was a lot of fun. These kids got to get out of their shell and get back into assembly life, rally life. And hopefully we can get back to where they can all do the rally at the same time, but baby steps. And I think we just have to accommodate as we move around. Music assembly, Jimmy and I made Jimmy stay for all 3 of them. And it was great. I honestly, with Wes, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what instruments we had. It was one of those things that we were hiring somebody hoping they knew all.
Well, I was surprised. He said 26 something. I thought, where did that come from?
And I was really impressed with the candidate. He seemed like he was really cool with the kids. He knew how to wrangle the crowd back in when they got a little talking. They were talking, but I believe they were talking about the assembly.
They're excited.
Yeah, and that's what the 7th and 8th graders, he had to say, when you go to a concert, you wait till the break to talk about what you just saw. And I really loved how he handled the students. Right, Jimmy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a teacher.
Yeah, he's definitely a teacher. And you could see that he really cared. And he brought 2 friends that could play instruments with him. And he played like songs the kids would know. And, even one of the ladies was talking about all the current rappers and stuff and what stuff they use, which I didn't even know what any of the stuff was. And was able to go to the dance. I sold food at the dance. I thought the dance was amazing. It was a lot of people. I thought there was like 80 something, but Roxanne said there was like 90 something. So I thought it was a great turnout.
Great.
Most of the kids dressed up. It was nice to see them. They all wore their masks, so I couldn't tell who all of them were, but I was selling pizza to them. And then Jeff Green and I went to the KTL talent show. That was a lot of fun. That was a little bit back to normal. The dancing at the end was a little much. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody could tease Miss Harmon about that. But she just shows off her skills with her dancing skills. Right? And then one other thing, it was a last minute thing, but I got to go to Sacramento and see Mr. Brazil get Superintendent of the Year award for small schools. And Dana, Cindy, Stephanie, and I had to sneak away to Cindy's house to do the interview through Zoom, which usually it's essays, and I would have had Cindy write my essay anyway, so that would have been easier. Yeah, but it's usually essays when you try to sell a person or something like that. And I really appreciated the interview. It was easy. It was we all knew the Tim from the Small School District Association, so it was easy to talk to him. But it was I could talk easier than I can write for sure, and it was really nice. And then we found out he won, but we didn't know any of the time frames until Cindy was able to sneak Tim aside and get the things. And I literally ran out the door to go see the award. I was last minute.
Listen, we voted for him.
Yeah. But, and he didn't know I was there. I usually go to those events, but I thought with COVID, it wasn't the place for me to go. So I didn't go, but, it was nice to surprise you. And I'll tell you, everybody in the room knew who he was and they all filmed it. And I really believe if one of the other candidates won, I don't think they would have filmed it. I don't think they've impacted the state as much as, LU has.
Well, they know what we know, Jeff.
Absolutely. And I hung out for a little bit to hear everybody say congratulations and then stole some snacks and left. But I was really happy I got to go. It was very last minute. I literally barely made it in time because it was all a secret. And when those big convention comes up, there's no time to plan stuff. It's already planned and you have to know. But I was really happy that we were involved in the conference call and that you won. And it shows.
I must say, I absolutely had no clue until the morning of that they gave out this award. Tim Taylor, the executive director, came up to me and said, "Oh, I want to introduce you to someone else who's nominated." And I kind of looked at him, and there had been little things that I had heard people. There was a couple of times I think people had said congratulations, and I just kind of, I thought, what in the world? And so anyway, when I got up on stage, it was like, okay, there's 5 of us nominated. I had absolutely no clue. I was absolutely shocked.
Did
and-
you know that you were going to be nominated?
No, I
Wow.
truly had no idea of anything they did. I still don't know how the nomination process went. I really don't. I'm honored, having served for the past 28 some years on Small School District Association and being passionate about small districts. It was truly an honor that I would never have.
He didn't see it
That was
coming.
what
He didn't see it
sold us.
coming.
That's what sold us when you said to us in the beginning, I want the small school district feel. I remember that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Got our man.
So thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Moving on to the next board meeting will be April 12th.
Yep.
April 12th. It's like the 21's reversed.
Yeah.
April 12th at closed session at 5:30, regular session at 6. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you, Mike,
Aye.
for attending. Have a good night.
Thank you.